accusations. But what if the real story isn't just about a few viral videos? What if the internet's obsession with NBA YoungBoy has created a storm so massive that every old clip, every old photo, every old rumor is now being dragged back into the spotlight at the exact same time? Because right now, that's exactly what's happening, and the timing has people asking questions nobody can seem to answer. For years, NBA YoungBoy has been one of the most controversial names in hip-hop. Not because of music alone, not because of lawsuits alone, not because of arrests alone, but because every few months another strange clip appears, another old image resurfaces, another viral post explodes across social media, and suddenly the entire internet starts arguing all over again. And recently, an old warning from YoungBoy himself has people looking at everything differently. The moment resurfaced like a ghost from the past. YoungBoy jokingly looked at the camera and practically predicted what would happen. "I'm going to show you some crazy. You going to call me gay for real? I'ma show you some crazy." At the time, many people laughed. They thought it was just another random YoungBoy moment. But now, people are replaying those words and wondering if he saw the backlash coming long before everyone else did. The conversation really exploded around the dancing videos. That's where everything seemed to change. One clip after another began spreading across TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, and YouTube. Millions of views, endless reaction videos, thousands of comments. Suddenly, every movement became evidence in the eyes of the internet. People weren't talking about albums anymore. They weren't talking about chart numbers. They weren't talking about streams. They were talking about dances. One particular couch video became the centerpiece of the entire controversy. Viewers watched YoungBoy dancing indoors, moving to music, joking around with friends. But social media transformed those few seconds into something much bigger. Every gesture got analyzed. Every movement got replayed. Every frame got slowed down and reposted. The internet did what it always does. It turned a moment into a narrative. And once a narrative starts online, it develops a life of its own. Then came another video, then another, a TikTok dance alongside a creator, stage performances, tour footage, backstage clips. Before long, entire compilation videos were being uploaded with millions of views. People weren't even discussing individual clips anymore. They were building collections, entire archives dedicated to proving whatever theory they already believed. And that's where things became dangerous. Because once people decide what they want to see, every new clip becomes confirmation. Every dance became evidence. Every joke became proof. Every smile became another talking point. But the videos weren't the only thing fueling the rumors. An old photograph suddenly returned from the dead. A picture involving longtime affiliate Bug Baby Joe began circulating once again. The image had already gone viral years earlier, but social media never lets controversial moments stay buried forever. As soon as the photo resurfaced, the arguments started all over again. Some people insisted it meant something. Others dismissed it completely. Baby Joe himself addressed it, calling it brotherly love and rejecting the accusations entirely. But social media rarely stops because someone gives an explanation. In fact, explanations often create even more attention. The more people denied the rumors, the bigger the rumors seemed to become. Then another controversy arrived. A prison clip involving YoungBoy's cousin and affiliate exploded online. Once again, social media grabbed a single moment and stretched it into an endless debate. Context disappeared. Clarifications disappeared. Nuance disappeared. Only the headlines remained. Only the clips remained. Only the speculation survived. And just when it looked like the conversation couldn't get any bigger, another name suddenly entered the story. A man claiming to have had a secret relationship with YoungBoy began making explosive allegations online. The accusations spread rapidly across Instagram, Facebook, blogs, gossip pages, and reaction channels. Screenshots flew everywhere. Discussion threads exploded overnight. But there was one massive problem. The evidence people expected never appeared. No messages, no direct confirmations, no undeniable proof, just claims, lots of claims. Yet in today's internet culture, claims alone are enough to keep a story alive for weeks, maybe months, sometimes years. And while all of this was happening, YoungBoy remained mostly silent. No lengthy explanations, no emotional live streams, no detailed responses, just silence. And sometimes silence creates more questions than answers. That's what makes this entire situation so fascinating. Because while one side of the internet is obsessed with viral clips and rumors, another side keeps pointing toward an entirely different reality. They point to relationships, they point to family, they point to years of public history that don't match the accusations being thrown around. Yet neither side seems willing to back down. The arguments keep growing, the clips keep spreading, the speculation keeps evolving, and beneath all of it sits one uncomfortable reality. NBA YoungBoy has become one of the most watched figures on the internet, where every movement is examined, every friendship is questioned, and every old clip can suddenly become tomorrow's biggest controversy. But here's where the story takes an even darker turn, because while social media has been obsessed with these rumors, another file has been growing in the background for years. A file filled with arrests, investigations, court cases, probation battles, federal charges, and controversies far bigger than viral dance videos. And that's where the entire narrative suddenly becomes far more complicated than a few viral clips and internet jokes. Because while social media was busy replaying dance videos, screenshotting old photos, and arguing in comment sections, another reality was unfolding behind the scenes. A reality documented in arrest reports, courtroom proceedings, probation violations, federal investigations, and years of legal battles that followed NBA YoungBoy everywhere he went. The contradiction is what makes this story so explosive. On one side, you have an internet obsessed with labeling him based on seconds-long clips pulled from live streams and social media posts. On the other side, you have a rapper whose name has appeared in criminal headlines so often that entire timelines have been built around his legal troubles. Somehow, both stories have existed at the same time, creating one of the strangest public images in modern hip-hop. The paper trail starts early, long before chart dominance, long before platinum records, long before becoming one of the most streamed artists in America. Arrests began piling up while YoungBoy was still a teenager. Every few years, another headline appeared, another courtroom appearance, another investigation, another controversy. Then came the incidents that truly changed everything: shootings, weapons cases, probation violations, federal attention. The kind of stories that transform a rapper from a musician into a permanent topic of debate. And every time it seemed like he was moving forward, another obstacle appeared. The 2020 Baton Rouge case became one of the biggest turning points. Authorities descended on a music video shoot, and suddenly headlines exploded everywhere. Weapons allegations, drug allegations, cash seizures, gang accusations, federal investigations. The story immediately became larger than music. Then things escalated again. Federal warrants, traffic stops, house arrest, court appearances. Millions of people watched the drama unfold in real time, wondering whether one of rap's biggest stars would ever truly escape the legal cloud hanging over his career. But here's what makes the situation even stranger. Despite the investigations, despite the arrests, despite the non-stop headlines, his popularity kept growing. Every controversy seemed to make him bigger. Every headline generated more attention. Every legal battle created more curiosity. The audience kept expanding while the pressure kept increasing. And then came the prescription fraud allegations. Once again, federal authorities entered the picture. Once again, social media exploded. Once again, predictions flooded the internet. People claimed his career was finished. Critics insisted the walls were finally closing in. Yet somehow the story kept evolving. Court decisions changed outcomes. Charges shifted. Sentences developed in unexpected ways. The saga became so complicated that many people stopped following the details entirely and simply waited for the next major headline to arrive. Then prison entered the conversation. And with prison came another layer of mythology. Stories, rumors, alleged altercations, accounts of conflicts behind bars, claims that spread through blogs, forums, and social media pages faster than anyone could verify them. Every new detail added another chapter to an already unbelievable narrative. Then came one of the most shocking twists of all, a presidential pardon. Suddenly, a story that had been moving through courtrooms and federal proceedings found itself entering political headlines. Supporters celebrated. Critics exploded. Comment sections erupted into war zones. Everybody had an opinion. Nobody agreed. And through all of it, one thing remained consistent. NBA YoungBoy kept generating attention at a level most artists can only dream about. Which brings us back to the original question. Why did these rumors refuse to disappear? Why does every old clip continue resurfacing? Why does every dance become a headline? Why does every photo return years later as if it never left? Maybe it's because the internet loves mysteries more than answers. Maybe it's because people have already chosen their sides. Or maybe it's because NBA YoungBoy has become something larger than a rapper. He's become an ongoing internet phenomenon, a figure onto whom millions of strangers project theories, assumptions, suspicions, and narratives. One side sees harmless clips being exaggerated beyond recognition. The other side sees patterns they believe cannot be ignored. Neither side seems interested in changing positions. And so the cycle continues. A clip resurfaces. A debate begins. Reaction channels upload videos. TikTok creates compilations. Reddit creates threads. Instagram reposts screenshots. YouTube recommendations start pushing the story again. And suddenly the entire machine comes back to life. The most fascinating part is that years later, after countless accusations, endless speculation, viral rumors, and millions of comments, the same questions remain unanswered. No definitive proof has appeared. No earth-shattering revelation has arrived. Yet the conversation refuses to die. Instead, it grows, it mutates, it reinvents itself. And every time people think the story is finally over, another old clip emerges from the shadows and starts the entire process again. Which leaves one final question hanging over everything. Are people uncovering hidden truths, or are they simply watching an internet obsession that has become so powerful it no longer needs facts to survive? Because right now the rumors are still spreading, the clips are still circulating, the debates are still raging. And somewhere out there, another forgotten video may already be waiting to restart the entire controversy all over again.